Hi, I'm Monica. I am the author and producer of the preschool learning curriculum, Visual Montessori. And it's a visual learning and teaching curriculum for preschool moms and caretakers and their preschoolers. So what I'd like to do is talk to you a little bit about today's freebie and tell you how you can use it. So one of the things that I learned while I was preschooling at home and homeschooling preschool with my two boys was about Maria Montessori. And I learned about the 12 sensitive periods as outlined in Montessori for the best and most opportune time to teach preschoolers. And that time is when they have demonstrated just kind of a real susceptibility to learning in some key areas. And so that's what I'd like to go over with you today. So in today's freebie, what you're going to get is a chart that talks a little bit about those 12 sensitive areas. And they are indicated on this chart, and they're also indicated on the drawers that you see right here. So there are 12 sensitive areas. One of them I don't actually put in a drawer, and I suppose you could plan curriculum and put it in a drawer, and I may in the future, but I didn't with my two because it was something that we just practiced every day, and that's toileting. Toileting is basically all of the things that you'd consider when you think about hygiene and also potty training. But even beyond that, beyond potty training, it includes just basic life skills like keeping their hands clean, knowing how to blow their nose, that kind of thing. So toileting is not actually on one of these drawers, but it is something that you'll be teaching if you have a preschooler. Now, for the other 11 areas that Montessori talks about, and I want to introduce those to you. So the first one is movement. Now, movement involves gross motor skills. And that's things like dancing, running, skipping, playing, and just basically general coordination and balance. And so when you're working with a preschooler, that's one of the things that you definitely want to be thinking about and observing if they're actually mastering skills in those areas. The next is language. And language is accomplished through talking with them, through face-to-face interaction, through putting them on your lap and reading a book. And that's just one of the key ways that you can help them develop language. Asking them questions after you read a story and helping them with reading comprehension. Another is small objects. Now, small objects you might have heard called fine motor skills because it is. And Maria Montessori called it small objects, but basically it's developing dexterity in your fingers and learning how to handle small objects. So it's basically anything 2 inches square or smaller. Now, order has to do a lot with, in much of the early curriculum that I did with my kiddos, it was more focused on how to get things organized. But as they mature and as they learn their responsibilities in the home, then they also need to learn things like chores and how to take care of things and learning that everything has a place and that everything has a proper place. So it's basically just developing an appreciation for order. Now, music is one of the other categories, and that's anything having to do with singing or any sort of musical activity. It could be a musical instrument, it could be observing something on YouTube and introducing them to a new instrument. And so any kind of joyful noise that you can encourage them to make and helping them to not be completely void of hearing music, because then they can become tone deaf. So you want to make sure that they get an opportunity to listen to music. The next is character. And this is something that Maria Montessori calls grace and courtesy, but I call it character because I think it basically encompasses everything. So it's manners, honesty, integrity, sharing, responsibility. So it's a lot of those social skills that you might think of when you think about socializing your preschooler and getting them used to working with other preschoolers. So that's kind of where that comes in. Now, senses. Now this is really important, especially in the early ages. So if you're working with a 2-year-old or even a 1-year-old, senses is a key critical area because all those neurons in their brain are being burned while they're learning how things feel, how they touch, when they touch them, how they feel, how they smell, how they taste, all of those things. So senses is really important when you're working, especially with little ones. And it's important throughout the preschool years. Next is writing. And so writing is going to be when they can kind of get a hold of that fine motor skill, that small object, and can learn to grasp a utensil for writing. And so that's something that you want them to have some familiarity with before they go to kindergarten. In fact, I believe most kindergarten teachers now expect that a preschool age child can write their own name before they go to kindergarten. So if you haven't thought about incorporating that into your daily activities and into maybe your weekly activities, that's something you might want to think about, especially if you have a child who's getting really close to kindergarten age. Next is reading. And reading starts with language. It starts with reading them lots of stories. In fact, I can't think of anything more helpful than to read your preschooler stories and help them become familiar with language and all of the different sounds, sentence structure, and all of those things. So reading. The next is spatial. And spatial has to do a lot with recognizing where things fit. Things like puzzles, all kinds of three-dimensional type of things. It could potentially be something as simple as showing a child when you sew on a button how it goes into the other side and actually makes a closure, that kind of thing. So it's teaching them about that. It could even be, teaching them how things stack together when you're stacking pots and pans. Math is the last of the 12, and that includes patterns, shapes, learning numbers, counting, adding, all of those things. So this particular chart that I've just read to you is going to be included in today's download. So I'm going to go ahead and include this so that you can get familiar with the 12 sensitive periods as outlined in Montessori. All of these are included in the preschool learning curriculum at visualmontessori.com. In addition to that, I'm going to include another freebie, which is the Montessori activities for the day. So you can just basically laminate this, and you can, as you're going through, check off like the things that you're working on, or plan out before you get started the things that you want to touch on for that day. Now, these are the freebies that I'm providing, but if you want all of this provided for you, I've gone ahead and done that as well. I've gone through the entire alphabet, letters A through Z, and I've developed about 30 learning activities for each letter of the alphabet. And it covers all 12 sensitive periods. So for instance, like in reading, I've gone ahead and gathered up all the sight words that start with the letter A, and I've included materials that can help you go over that with your preschooler. That includes things like tracing, reading the word, matching the word to images, all of those things. In addition, every single week, you're going to get activities in all 12 sensitive periods. So math, music, reading, language, spatial, order, all of those different areas. And I've even included things for building character, things that our family has already read and gone through. We've vetted hundreds of books at the library and put together an entire learning curriculum to help you cover things like manners, honesty, integrity, and things of that nature to help you with your preschooler at home. I've also got lots of sensory activities. So say, for instance, if we're on the letter A, I might talk a little bit about using an apple, taste an apple, touch an apple, cut an apple, all the different things that you can do. So all of that has been planned out and put on weekly planning charts. So if you decide to go ahead and do the Visual Montessori preschool learning curriculum at home with your preschooler, everything's been planned out for you. And in the videos, so there are 26 videos where I've gone just like I'm doing now, and I will actually show you how to pack the Montessori planning cart for the week. And so you just watch the video, you print out the planning chart, and then you go through your house and you collect the things that you probably already have. Things like apples and books that have short words with the letter A and words that start with the letter A in them, and that sort of thing. So all of that's been put together, and that's what I teach in my Visual Montessori curriculum. And all of it covers the 12 sensitive periods. So I just wanted to go over with you today what's included in today's freebie, which includes basically these two planning charts for Montessori, so you can understand what the 12 sensitive periods are. Now in the actual curriculum, so if you decide to go ahead and enroll, I'll walk you through what age to introduce these different things and kind of what the age range is for teaching and learning in each of these 12 sensitive periods. But I'm going to go ahead and give you these today so you can become familiar with what all is included in the curriculum. Now, the actual book that I've written that includes all of the lesson plans, the planning guide, all of the explanation of how it works, and everything like that is included when you purchase the Visual Montessori program. So all of it's been planned out. Like I mentioned, there are over 1,300 pages of printables that you could potentially use. You don't have to use all of them. There's 800 plus activities. Again, you don't have to use all of them. You're really targeting about 12 activities a week, one in each of the 12 sensitive areas, and your typical plan time for that is going to be 15 minutes maybe for each activity, maybe 30 depending on the complexity, and then kind of watching how your preschooler responds. If they get really excited about something, you might want to go to the library and expand on that, or you might want to get a DVD or check out something on YouTube to help you explain to your preschooler the thing that they're really excited about. I know for our family, it's just been amazing, the journey that it has been, and learning with our kiddos and kind of exploring and experiencing the world through their eyes. And that's what I want for you. I want that connection. I want that whole learning experience, something that you and your kiddo can enjoy, and I want to make it super easy because I know what it is to be a busy mom or a busy caretaker. Sometimes you've got other kids, you've got laundry, you've got household things that you have to take care of, and it's not easy to preschool at home sometimes. But that's what I want to do. I want to take all of the concern about planning. You won't have to worry anymore because I've taken care of it for you. And as I've mentioned, I am a certified teacher in early childhood education. I have been trained in Montessori, and I've been a Montessori practitioner now, a visual Montessori now for 6 years. So everything that I share is going to be tested and proven. The curriculum has been downloaded over 80,000 times from my website at happyandblessedhome.com. I get emails all the time from people who are super thrilled about the materials that I've provided. I've actually received emails from moms in Dubai who are so excited that they can actually kind of experience something that's similar to what they experienced at home growing up, and yet they're so far away. So they're so thankful for the materials. I've gotten emails from grandparents who are like, gosh, it's been so long since I've had a little one. I'm so glad you put this online and that you published this so that I can preschool at home using the 12 sensitive periods as outlined in Montessori. I've even had moms write me and say, thank you so much. My son just missed the cutoff for kindergarten, and you've taken this non-teacher and turned them into a teacher. So that's my hope for you, is a transformation, something that would be just very life-giving and exciting for you and your preschooler. I want to take all of the worry and all of the headache off your shoulders and give you something that is completely put together and super easy and super simple to use. So I have another video coming up where I will show you where to start, and that is going to provide you with some free preschool assessment charts and just some things that you can observe about your preschooler and see where their skill sets are so that you can go ahead and make plans on, like, well, is there anything we need to work on? So that's what I'm going to go ahead and provide next. So thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll look forward to seeing you online with the next video.